James chapter 1. In studying the chapter, to appreciate the value of enduring trials, to understand how sin develops from temptation to death, separation from God, to note the importance of being doers of the word and practitioners of religion that is pure and undefiled before God. Following a simple and humble salutation, James 1 verse 1. James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes which are in the dispersion, greetings. James begins his epistle with a call to view trials as occasions to rejoice, understanding they can produce patience which leads to maturity. James 1 verses 2 through 4. Count it all joy, my brethren, when you fall into various temptations, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance. Let endurance have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. If wisdom is needed, he counsels his readers to ask God with faith and no doubting. James 1 verses 5 through 8. But if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him. But let him ask in faith, without any doubting, for he who doubts is like a wave of the sea, driven by the wind and tossed. For let that man not think that he will receive anything from the Lord. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. In the meantime, the poor are encouraged to rejoice in their exaltation, while the rich are to be thankful for their humiliation. James 1 verse 9 through 11. Let the brother in humble circumstances glory in his high position, and the rich in that he is made humble, because like the flower in the grass he will pass away. For the sun arises with the scorning wind, and withers the grass, and the flower in it falls, and the beauty of it appears precious. So also will the rich man fade away in his pursuit. Motivation to endure temptation is given, along with an explanation as to the true source of temptations and the development of sin which leads to spiritual death. James 1 verses 12 through 15. Blessed is the man who endures temptation, for when he has been approved, he will receive the crown of life, which the Lord promised to those who love him. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted by God, for God cannot be tempted by evil, and he himself tempts no one. But each one is tempted when he is drawn away by his own lust and enticed. Then the lust, when it has conceived, bears sin, and the sin, when it is full grown, brings forth death. Let no one be deceived. God is not the source of temptation, but the Father of every good and perfect gift which comes down from above, who has brought us forth that we might be the first fruits of his creation. James 1 16 through 18. Don't be deceived, my brethren. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom can be no variation, nor turning shadow. Of his own will he brought us forth by the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creators, with admonitions to be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. James 1 verses 19 through 20. So then, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger, for the anger of man doesn't produce the righteousness of God. James then expounds upon the major theme of this epistle. James 1 verse 21. Therefore, putting away all filthiness and overflowing of wickedness, receive with humility an implanted word, which is able to save your souls or preserve your life. To be doers of the word and not hearers only. James 1 verse 22 through 24. but be doers of the word, and not only hearers, deluding your own selves. For if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man beholding his natural face in a mirror. For he sees himself and goes away, and immediately forgets what kind of man he was. Illustrating the folly of being a hearer only, he contrasts the difference between religion that is useless and that which is pure and undefiled before God. James 1 verse 25 through 26. But he who looks into the perfect law, the law of freedom, and continues, not being a hearer who forgets, but a doer of the work, this man will be blessed in what he does. If anyone among you thinks himself to be religious, while he doesn't bridle his tongue, but deceives his heart, this man's religion is worthless. James 1 verse 27. Pure religion and undefiled before our God and Father is this, to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unstained by the world. James chapter 1, the end.